This is Marjory Wildcraft, and on this edition of Homesteading Basics, I'm going to show you the lessons that I've learned from a cheapie greenhouse. Alright, so having a greenhouse is important in every bioregion. And I'm not kidding, even down in the tropics I saw them using greenhouses to keep the water off. And quite a few years ago I wanted to learn more about greenhouses because it is such an important component, especially for extending the season. And a general principle whenever you're doing any new project or learning any new thing is to start small. So the first thing I did is I bought a really cheapie greenhouse. Really, this is a little 8x10 thing, Harbor Freight, I don't know what it was, $250 or something like that, and we built it and put it up. The very first thing that we learned is that even though we're braced up against a barn here, this thing, with almost any kind of wind loading at all, it came with some little clips to hold it together. This thing, the panels would be flying off all over the place, and the whole frame, it's just a thin aluminum, it would twist. So we immediately started getting some extra wood to brace it, and we used screws to screw in the panels to hold them in rather than the little clips, and that seemed to help, although occasionally when we did get a strong windstorm it would still rip it off. But you know, I have to say, for just being a little cheapie greenhouse, it did work well, and I did start a lot of seedlings, and we did get a pretty good season extension out of it. It wasn't that many years though that went by that I started to notice that my seedlings were getting very, very leggy, and that they just weren't getting enough sunlight. And to me, it still looked like there was plenty of light coming in through, but it turns out that it's not. And this is really, really thin. I think this is called 4 mil polycarbonate. And you know, it deteriorates in the sun, it turns yellow, and it starts to block sunlight. So effectively the greenhouse after a few years was pretty useless. I actually wanted to get rid of this thing, but my husband's real attached to it. And he says, "Hon, that frame is valuable." That's a little family internal debate you might not need to know about, but nonetheless he's won because it's still here. Anyway, there's a lot of value to starting out with a small little cheap thing, and if all you're wanting is a quick season extender and you know you're going to be replacing this every couple of years and you know you're going to be bracing it against wind, I'd say go for it. But I'm going to also go through a bunch of other different greenhouse types in coming Homesteading Basics, and let's see if something else might be better for you. This is Marjory Wildcraft, and we'll catch you on another one.